Number 5. The Black Dahlia, Season 1 Murder House. In American Horror Story Season 1 episode, Spooky Little Girl shows Elizabeth Short going to the murder house owned by Dr. David Curran. Not being able to pay him money, she lets him have sex with her body while she is on helium, but she ends up dying while he is having sex with her. Not wanting to go to prison, with the help of the ghost of Dr. Charles Montgomery, disposes Elizabeth's body by cutting her in half from the waist down, draining her body of her blood and organs, then carving a Joker-like smile from ear to ear. Her body is then found by a passing stranger in the park. In real life, the murder of Elizabeth Short is still one of the most unsolved murders in LA history. The way Elizabeth was found in the TV show is similar to real life, and the real murderer has never been caught. Police believe that whoever committed this act was a doctor, as the way Elizabeth was displayed. During the investigation, letters were mailed to the newspapers containing Elizabeth's personal effects, and messages telling police to show up to these locations. The last place Elizabeth was seen before she was found dead was near the Cecil Hotel, so whoever killed her had to know where she was and that she would be alone. Over 500 suspects have been questioned, and years later the case remains unsolved. Number 4. Madame Marie Delphine lalaurie, Season 3 Coven. At the beginning of Season 3, we see Madame Laurie's Chamber of Horrors, where she keeps her slaves for her sick pleasure, even her own daughters after she heard them criticizing her. With her cruel nature against humanity, the voodoo queen, Marie Laveau, creates a special love potion and gives it to Laurie, who drinks it, but unknowingly Laveau casted a spell of immortality on Delphine, and she was buried underground until she was dug up by Fiona. Disturbing as her character, she was in fact a real person. Brought in a life where slavery was accepted, Delphine didn't hesitate to treat her slaves with injustice. Lalaurie was married 3 times, 2 of her husbands mysteriously died. With her being rich and a well-known socialite in New Orleans, she held a strong influence over the community and was able to get away with murder. In 1834, a fire was started by the cook in the kitchen in an attempt to commit suicide because she was going to be punished by being sent to the room in the attic where Lalaurie's slaves were tortured. After the fire, what was revealed was horrific. Limbs stretched, mutilated bodies in the slaves' quarters hung from their necks, and one man had a gaping hole in his head filled with worms. A mob of townspeople attacked the Lalaurie mansion, but she managed to escape. Unlike in American Horror Story, it is believed she fled to Paris and lived the rest of her life till she died. It wasn't until a copper plate was found in the St. Louis cemetery, which claimed she died in Paris on December 7, 1849. Number 3. Twisty the Clown, Season 4 Freak Show. In Season 4 of American Horror Story, we are introduced to a mysterious clown who makes his first appearance after killing the boyfriend of a kidnapped girl, and again after abducting a little boy from his bedroom after murdering his parents. Later we found out this is Twisty the Clown, a retired old clown who lost his way of life. His backstory is introduced in the Halloween episode, Edward Mordrake Part 2. Twisty was a popular children's clown in 1943. The other performers became jealous of Twisty's fame and wanted to get rid of him. They told him that the children were telling the police that Twisty was touching them, and the police were after him. Confused and afraid, Twisty ran away. Rumors spread like wildfire, and like this one, Twisty was unable to find work. He decided to invent new toys to sell to the local toy shop, but was turned away by the owner. Hurt, scared, lonely, and depressed, he decided to take his own life with a shotgun to the mouth. He failed to kill himself, but it left him with the lower half of his jaw being blown off. He then decides to make the children safe again by taking them away from their parents in order to make them love him again. His story is sad, and the way he was portrayed was inspired by real serial killer John Wayne Gacy, who was also known as the Killer Clown. He would dress up as his alter ego, Pogo the Clown, and entertain at parties for extra money. He would lure young boys and men, even runaways, promising work, and then he would rape and murder while dressed up as Pogo the Clown, while strangling them with their own underwear between 1972 and 1978. He would then dump the bodies in the Des Plaines River in Illinois. It's been estimated 33 young men have been murdered, although police believe it could have been more. Gacy was arrested and sentenced to death by lethal injection in 1994. Before he died, he created works of art of Disney skulls and other macabre art, but mostly a portrait of his alter ego Pogo the Clown, which he named Goodbye Pogo the Clown. Number 2. The Hotel Cortez, Season 5 Hotel. Season 5 of American Horror Story is set in LA at the fictional Hotel Cortez. The Cortez was built by James Patrick March, who was portrayed by Evan Peters. The Cortez is a mysterious hotel that when you check in, you won't be able to leave. Throughout the season, secrets are revealed, betrayal, sex, death, and demons are revealed. Not to mention it ties with the first season of American Horror Story, Murder House, that if you die on the property of the hotel, you're trapped there forever. The Hotel Cortez is based on a real hotel in downtown LA, called the Cecil Hotel. Built in 1924, the Cecil Hotel became a blood-splattered legend where it's become a hotspot for suicides during the 50s and 60s. In 1962, a guest at the hotel jumped from the 9th floor in a hotel room and landed on a male pedestrian, killing him. In the 80s, serial killer Rich Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker, killed his victims and dumped his bloody clothes in the dumpster behind the hotel. In 1991, serial killer Jack Unterweger stayed at the hotel and killed 3 prostitutes by strangling them with their own bra straps. The Cecil Hotel is also an attraction for paranormal investigators, as it is believed all 600 rooms are cursed, and it's well known that Ouija board and satanic rituals are conducted at the hotel. But one of the most infamous mysteries is the death of Elisa Lam, a 21-year-old college student who was found inside the hotel roof water tanks after hotel guests complained of a foul smell coming from the sink water and discoloration. Her cause of death was accidental, despite the strange circumstances surrounding her death. Toxology reports indicate that she wasn't on any drugs and/or alcohol. Authorities eventually released an elevator video footage of Lam interacting with an unknown person and acting strangely as if she's trying to hide. If you haven't seen the footage, well, here it is. Number 1. Kit and Alma Walker, Season 2, Asylum. In Season 2 of American Horror Story, which is set in the 1960s, this season is set around alien abduction and demonic possession. We're going to stick with the alien abduction for this one. Kit Walker, a gas station attendant who is portrayed by Evan Peters, married to Alma Walker, but is in an interracial marriage and being set in the 1960s, this was considered a taboo. One night after having sex with Alma, both were attacked with Alma disappearing and Kit being abducted by aliens. His life is turned upside down as he is believed to be the serial killer Bloodyface and is sent to Briarcliff Asylum after his alien abduction story is nothing more than a hoax. It's a bizarre story, but it's based on an actual event of the first recorded alien abduction. The case of Betty and Barney Hill. Started in 1961, the Hills were on their way home when Betty noticed a shooting star, so they both pulled over to investigate. Both watched as the object in the sky bounced around erratically. Barney, looking through his binoculars, saw 10 of the craft's occupants looking down at him. Betty and Barney both jumped back into the car and sped off. They both saw the object chasing them, and a strange sensation hit their bodies. Within a split second, they both found themselves 35 miles south of where they were with no memory of what happened. 10 days later, Betty began having vivid nightmares, and after telling churchgoers, they were suggested to go to a hypnotherapist. She remembers men dressed in military-like uniforms blocking the road and surrounding their car. Both Betty and Barney were escorted into the woods and walked towards the craft by 2 small men. They were both led onto the craft, with both being brought into separate examination rooms, after which they were both escorted out to their car and told to drive, which they did. They were both convinced that they were abducted and wonder if they will ever return.